Welcome to tonight's coverage of the BTDY Racing League Chase for the BTDY Cup. There's no place like home here at the Kansas Speedway for race 1. Colorado stays bottom, slides up into 1. He comes back up the track and he gets clobbered. Here comes Loveland to the inside. Jeff Wright will come home and he'll win the race and win the winner of the playoffs at the Kansas Speedway.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
We've been around since 1946, originated as a scrapyard and evolved into a full-on steel service center, buying and selling new steel products of light fabrication, such as cutting, shearing, bending, threading. We also run a wholesale pipe, valve, and fitting plumbing division, as well as a retail showroom outlet. And then we also are a full-on structural steel fabricator, which is the skeletal steel that you see in commercial and residential structures. We sell to a wide variety of contractors, plumbers, maintenance type personnel, underground utility companies. We sell anything from single nuts and bolts to like a typical hardware store type of feel, one fitting, to full semi-loads of pipes. We're a little deeper in our inventory, and we actually have maybe a little more specialized type of fittings and such. Stock quite a diverse inventory, so we try to keep everything here to keep you guys going.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
Hello and welcome to the Below the Double Yellow Racing Series, live tonight for race number 3 from the Nashville Fairgrounds for the Nashville Fairgrounds 150. This is going to be an exciting one here. Some short track action for the first time this season after kicking things off at Daytona 2 weeks ago and following that up with Old Atlanta. We've had a couple of very entertaining finishes, and we get to some bumping and banging here tonight on the short track in Nashville. My name is Adam Baker, and I'm joined up here in the booth by Connor Horn. First time with us this season, Connor. Different type of racetrack, a difficult racetrack. What do you think these guys are going to experience out here in these ARCA cars tonight?
A lot of up and down, because there's a lot of bumps on this racetrack. This is kind of main character of this racetrack is how bumpy the bottom is in turns 1 and 2. It makes it really, really difficult to make any ground down there. Making passes down there is going to be tough. Staying off your competitor is going to be tough if you go down there yourself. Don't think we'll get green flag pit stops personally, but even under yellow, that pit entry can be kind of tough to get. It's kind of tucked in there. So a lot of drivers have a lot of things to think about. But I think one thing that's going to be important is track position. A little tougher to pass in these ARCA cars, obviously a toned down car. So that track position, when everyone's on the same setup, it's pretty important. So good qualifying efforts, pretty important tonight.
Yeah, definitely going to be important as drivers on the racetrack putting in their qualifying times. This is race number 3. Bailey Turner back on the racetrack for this one. He's run the fastest time so far. Let's take a look at the qualifying ticker. Right up there, you can see the fastest lap time. Bailey Turner right now. Keith Mayato, last week's winner, who won it in dramatic fashion over, that was Levi Cox in the 54 out of turn 4. In last week's event at Atlanta. That was a very exciting battle to the line. Bailey Turner was leading and won the first stage of the season. And speaking of stages, let's take a quick look at tonight's race analysis. 0.6 miles, the length of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We have 150 laps set to go tonight. The stage break is going to be at lap number 30. We do have 5 sets of tires available in the race, including the set that they have on. So 4 sets in the pits. We'll have 3 green, white checkered attempts, and we may end up using those at a track like Nashville Fairgrounds. And tonight's race setup is the fixed setup as well as an 80% fuel load. So going to have pretty good fuel mileage at a small track like this. We'll see, as we get into the race a little bit more, what that fuel range is actually going to look like. But that is your race analysis for tonight. Let's see if we can go trackside now and catch a few drivers, maybe putting some lap times in or getting a little bit more practice. Keith Mayato is still on the racetrack, so we'll see if we can get a peek at what he's doing out here. Currently fourth.
Definitely trying to run kind of a middle line. He is actually going over those bumps more than I would think you'd want to, but there is a point when even if you're trying to miss those bumps on the bottom, if you run a little bit too high, I mean, you're just too high at one point, and that outside concrete wall comes up in a hurry. No safer barriers, and there's some guardrails around this track as well, but you can still see him. You're not really able to run the yellow line down there, else that bump will really get you. But middle line at most tracks is usually the defending line, and passing on the bottom is still tough in any car on iRacing. But tonight, that's the main line anyway. So I think if you pass someone, you're gonna have to get at least a little bit physical, whether it's the front bumper or the right side of your car getting used up. I think you're gonna see some pretty heavy action trying to make these passes for some of these guys.
Yeah, as Mayato committed to that middle lane, you can see has to wait on the throttle quite a bit on exit. We saw drivers getting loose in practice, but yeah, continues to ride through the middle here in 1 and 2, cut it down towards the yellow line on exit. That may be the way around here. He's currently 4th quickest by just under a 10th slower than Brody Hayes, who's now jumped to the top of the leaderboard. Taking a look now at Michael Robinson in the Buc-ee's machine as he rolls off here, just under a minute left in qualifying. Yeah, we'll see what he's able to do, if he can get a nice lap time in. A driver who finished up towards the front at Daytona. Actually finished in the 2nd position. And so we'll see if he's able to get back up there onto the podium tonight here at Nashville Fairgrounds. We'll take a look at the track conditions as well. 84 degrees out here with the track temp of 89. So it is a later session in the sim, so not as much sunlight directly on the racetrack, so that would lead to a lower temperature than what we might see sometimes in this BTDY series. These guys like to run a hot track, and it can lead to some very interesting racing, but should be plenty of grip for these guys tonight, assuming they don't burn their stuff up.
Yeah, I would say so. You really shouldn't have too harsh a fall off with the tires like you would at a track like maybe Old Atlanta, something like that. But, you know, we should see a little bit of tire wear. The percentages should go down a little bit, but like you said, I don't think these guys are going to be really crying for grip as much as they would if it was a complete day race, as we're going to race kind of into darkness a little bit in this 150 lap race. So these drivers got to pay attention a little bit to how much their car slides, but hopefully for their sake they have it figured out.
As we go now to our starting grid tonight from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, it's Brody Hayes, your pole sitter here tonight. He'll get a bonus point for that. Levi Cox going to roll off from the second position, and he'll hope to try and avenge his loss from last week. Looking at row number 2, it's Bailey Turner back in the driver's seat, the 24 machine. Keith Mayato, last week's winner, he'll roll off from the 4th spot. Chris Samard going to start from the 5th position. 6th on the grid is going to be Ryan Phillips in the 27 machine. Dallas Sullivan set 7th fastest here. Dennis Faircloth is 8th. 9th tonight on the starting grid is going to be James Loveland and Michael Robinson rounding out the top 10.
Right behind them, 11th position, the 88, the National Guard Chevy SS. That's Eric Hutton. He'll be alongside Noah Mahalski in the 03. Jeremiah Hobbs, I believe in the Caterpillar 31, will be in 13th, with Chase Abel lining up in 14th position. 15th, Michael Kostek, the Jack Daniels Chevrolet. And 15th, Daniel Cunningham. One of the Camrys in the field will start 16th. Cody Atkins, the 55, 17th position. Jake Mackey, the Mythic Metals Chevy, he gets 18th position. Brady Wagoner, 19th in the 28 car, one of the few Mustangs we have in the field. And then Michael Jones, the Red Bull Camry, will start in the 20th position.
21st tonight on the grid, Colton Freymiller. 22nd is going to be Todd Giles Jr. 23rd will be Kyle Peacock, I believe, back on iRacing after a little bit of a break there, so good to see him out here. Max Koss starting in the 24th position. Benson Weaver going to roll off 25th. Zach Smith 26th. 27th, Jace Cully, who had a great run last week at Atlanta as well. Christian Blackwell going to start from the 28th position, and that will do it here tonight. 28 cars around a just shy of 2/3 of a mile racetrack. We're going to see some action. There's definitely going to be some contact here tonight, and going to beat up a few of these nice looking race cars. I love these Gen 6 bodies, and it's cool to see some throwback schemes tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely have some throwbacks to that era where you kind of always saw these paint schemes on Gen 6s. I like Max Koss because the Jeff Gordon paint scheme, I believe I saw win in person at Dover, so that one's cool to look at. You got some Bass Pro Shops, obviously the Caterpillar 31, the National Guard 88, those ones are very memorable, and obviously Jeff Gordon's final race, that paint scheme on Bailey Turner, who should be a big threat to win tonight. That's probably my favorite, although I'm very biased.
Yeah, Bailey definitely has shown his skills here in BTDY as well as SNR. You know, definitely puts on a show every Saturday night, and often the car to beat out there. So that's your official choice here tonight, Connor? Could be.
I think it's got to be Turner. He's been on fire in really any league I've seen him run so far in 2025, let alone in the past few months. I mean, he's been on it, so 24 is my pick.
All right, I'm going to go with Brody Hayes, your pole sitter here tonight. It's been a little bit since he's been in victory lane, but really good on these short tracks, and he's got a good starting position here tonight. Pace truck going to roll off as the field works towards the restart zone. Green flag is in the air, and we are off and away from Nashville Fairgrounds. Lap number 1 complete already. These laps just under 20 seconds. Brody Hayes had to battle for it hard there with Levi Cox. Able to secure the lead, though. They banged doors off turn 2, but everybody making it back around here. So at least one good, clean green flag lap. Keith Mayato is stuck on the outside of Bailey Turner, but might be the preferred groove as the run goes on. We'll just have to keep an eye on that and how the rubber gets laid down here. But Brody Hayes out in front by a car length, still side by side. Dennis Faircloth, James Loveland back here, Eric Hutton, all battling for position just inside the top 10. But it seems to...
Caution.
And there it is.
Zach Smith.
Yeah, Zach Smith gets turned around on the backstretch. Let's go take a look at what happened to the number 91 Slurpee machine.
Didn't see anyone else involved.
Oh, it just gets a little bit of the death wobble there after going through the bumps. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Noses it into the inside wall, and looks like he's taking it behind the wall, at least to the pit lane for our first caution of the night. So not too long of a run there, but we'll see if we get a quickie yellow. These guys want to get those laps in, and we'll run pace laps pretty quickly here. Just 30 seconds or so to get around here under yellow.
And at least gave us a opportunity to at least see what the leader might do for restarts and such. Hayes picked the top side, which a lot of the time you're just not going to bother doing that since the initial starts on green per iRacing. But you know, he was able to get enough of a launch off of turn number 2 to get a run to clear Levi Cox really before they got out of turn number 4. Cox kind of drove him up the track a little bit. Maybe was caught off guard by how those bumps shot him up the track, but he was at least able to keep that second position. But Hayes was able to make the top side work, while kind of on the other side of things, my auto was also able to just keep fending off Bailey Turner. There's really nothing Turner could do besides just try to pin the bottom and hope my auto made a mistake. He looked a touch faster, but it's so hard to kind of work and grind lap after lap to make that pass work.
Yeah, so they've settled out for the moment, get a little bit of a breather for just a couple laps here. We'll probably get the one to go this next time. But Brody Hayes out in front has led every lap so far. Levi Cox in that second spot. My auto third. Bailey Turner fourth. Chris Samard in the top 5. Chris maybe a little bit of a sleeper pick as well. Pretty good on these short tracks. Has a history of going to victory lane at tracks like New Hampshire and Martinsville. And we'll see what he's able to do. At this one here tonight, would love to get to victory lane once again. It's been a bit of a dry spell for the 77, but up here towards the front at the start of the night at least, as they work their way down the backstretch. Pace truck will lead them back to the pit lane and about to get going once again. And Hayes going to pick the top side. 54 Levi Cox to the inside and waiting on the green flag. There it is. Hayes in control, gets a good jump, and he will clear the 54 down into turn 1. The battle's on for second.
It's perfect for Bailey Turner, able to restart 4th behind the race leader. He's going to jump from 4th to that second spot thanks to the leader picking the outside. So maybe, I think Turner's going to be a threat. So I think Brody Hayes next time might think twice about giving a faster driver the jump right behind him, because now Turner's all over the 37.
Yeah, right on the back bumper as they work through those ups and downs of turn number 1 and turn number 2, and down into turn 3. He's going to take a peek to the inside. Hayes is going to give him the lane. Not able to shut the door. They work their way off the corner. Hayes just going to get the nose at the stripe, but back down into turn number 1, and Hayes starting to see that lead disappear, and not quite able to get clear that time for Bailey Turner. They're still side-by-side battling for the top spot.
See Turner on the bottom of 3 and 4. He's able to carry a lot more speed center to exit, and he's able to get that nose ahead and lead his first lap of the race. But turn 2, just a little bit too bumpy on the exit, where he's not going to get as good of a run on the exit of that corner, and that's where Hayes can really pull back forward and get back clear of that 24. But right here is really where the 24 is charging the most.
Gaining a lot of ground on turn entry. It's just, yeah, like you said, on the exit, can't quite pull it off. This time slips up the track a little bit more, and that's maybe what he's going to have to do and use the door a little bit. But they're running a lot faster here than they might at some other short tracks through the turn. So got to be careful to not get into a guy too hard. As Dennis Faircloth big slide off turn number 4.
Yeah, I thought Turner was going to get to the outside from the lead, but he just couldn't quite hold it on the exit of turn 4. But Faircloth had that moment. We'll see how many more drivers have some death wobbles, some wiggles through the corner. We're seeing a lot of drivers run way high on the racetrack in the middle of the corner to get that run off, like Dennis Faircloth just did. But that battle for the lead's not going away. I think Turner is faster right now. But he hit the wall pretty hard. That won't help him. Don't know if that'll do any damage, but how much longer will he be faster for? Because it's dirty air still a little bit of a thing, even at a track that's this short when you're right tucked up behind someone. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, and Bailey Turner, you know, just kind of defending there early on. Those first few laps of attack from Bailey Turner So Hayes just doing what he needs to do to try and keep the car in front, keep the track position. He might be able to pull away as the run goes on. Right now, those two have broken away by almost a second over Levi Cox. And then we've got a big gaggle of race cars starting back here with Chris Samard, Ryan Phillips, Dennis Faircloth, as they all race off of turn number 2. Lots of guys rubbing that outside guardrail, making a little bit of contact there, but just kind of the way the car comes off the corner with the bumps, sometimes the back end just kind of slaps it. I've seen at this racetrack.
When you're hanging out the right rear, it's kind of just going to happen, and you just kind of have to deal with it and hope not to hit it too hard to the point where you get stuck or have to turn left to get back out of the way, as Ryan Phillips is really going backwards. Faircloth got by him. Loveland, and looks like Mahalski's going to be the next one to try to challenge, but struggling just a little bit for the 27, even though he's in that middle lane, still really not able to get the power down like he wants. As Hutton had a little bit of a wiggle, as Bailey Turner is still all over Brody Hayes, giving him every bit of pressure possible.
And it's interesting, I don't see the lights necessarily flipping on here.
They'll get there.
Yeah.
It happens later now. I don't know why.
Like, it's pretty dark out here. It probably is a bit brighter for these guys in the race car, but here comes the crossover move off turn number 4. What is Bailey Turner going to be able to do this time? Gets a good run through 1 and 2. He's going to have the nose out in front, and Hayes nearly catches the wall. Maybe a little drag on the barrier, and now there goes Bailey Turner right on through.
Todd Giles had a big wreck. I think he got loose into 3 and hit the tire at the end of the pit wall. That car's destroyed. We stayed green as Bailey Turner finally took the race lead away from Brody Hayes. I think Hayes finally just gave it to him, really. But I do not know what happened to that driver. That was couldn't even see what number that was.
That's the 14, I believe. Yeah, he is sitting on pit lane right now.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, we'll see if we can go back and find out what happened to him. Oh yeah, look at the front end of that 14 Mountain Dew machine. That is absolutely destroyed, so his night going to be done and over with here early on. Taking a look at Keith Mayato, last week's winner, battling with Levi Cox. These guys were in turn number 4 at Atlanta, side by side, and the 54 ran out of gas just exiting the turn. Would have been an incredibly close finish either way, but Mayato able to prevail in that one. Right now they battle again. Chris Samard behind them. James Loveland, another driver good on the short tracks and finding his rhythm here early on in this one, up 3 positions. So keep an eye on Loveland. He's run real world up in Buffalo area, New York, and also in dirt racing and with some victories, so definitely has a real world experience on these short tracks. Behind him, Noah Mahalski, Dennis Faircloth, Eric Hutton, and Ryan Phillips all rounding out the top 10. And things getting fairly spread out amongst the top 10. You look a little further back, still some side-by-side battling. The 7 of Chase Abel, Jake Mackey, Jace Cully, who charged through the field at Atlanta. Not quite able to, well, actually he is charging. He's up 11 spots. So once again, trying to come from the back.
It's kind of like if you go to Saturday Night Racing League, you got Kenny Kibbe, who never qualifies, always finishes top 10 when he does that. And Chase Cully, I don't know if he qualified last week, but he didn't this week, and he's already up those 11 positions, like you were mentioning. And really no one else driving through the field like he is. Everyone else kind of sticking to where they started. Benson Weaver's up 5 positions. Max Koss is up 3 positions. You got guys like Michael Robinson, who's back 12 positions. Dallas Sullivan's back 6. Ryan Phillips is back 4. Mahalski's up 5 spots into 7th, so good run for him. As, like you said, things have spread out a lot more than I thought they would. You know, dirtier maybe a little bit of a factor, but maybe tire wear even more of a factor than we might have thought it might be as well. We're about maybe 0.4 of a second off and maybe 25-ish laps of green flag action right now.
Yeah, so not too bad. As big bobble there, Levi Cox in that 3rd position. Mayato's going to be able to close back up now, about a car length and a half between those two, and just keeping an eye on the lap times. Last lap time, you can see Bailey Turner ran about a 19 flat, and Brody Hayes just a touch faster, but pretty much everybody right around 19, and yeah, yellow flag back out.
I believe that's the competition caution that they mentioned.
Yeah, so Bailey Turner getting another stage victory.
as maybe it's a competition caution to turn the lights on as well.
Oh yeah, maybe. It is definitely getting dark out here. I think the last race we called, Connor, we had fog, and now we've got dark.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Iowa got a little bit foggy. I wonder if it's foggy for the Coke Series race tonight.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't think there's a whole lot of fog that happens. Maybe in the early morning out in Iowa, but drivers on to pit lane here. Bailey Turner going to lead him down. And we'll see. It looks like Noah Michalski going to stay out, try and lead a lap, and he will. Bailey Turner into his box nicely. No issues there. It looks like everybody amongst the top 5, top 10 doing a good job getting into the box. We'll see who's able to win the battle off of pit lane. Brody Hayes out here in front. It is going to be the 24 of Bailey Turner going to win that battle off. But Michalski, we'll see what he elects to do. Only 4 sets of tires in the pits. But I would think he's probably going to bring it in. No, still staying out here. Interesting choice. Although you said there wasn't too much fall off. So maybe he's just hoping, you know, we get a quick yellow or something in 10, 15 laps, and he's got a bit of an advantage at that point and has an extra set of tires, or I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It wasn't like he really needed track position. Michalski didn't really need track position. He was up to 7th, so running pretty well. I wouldn't have been surprised to see someone maybe 20th or 15th on back even try a track position game, but this is definitely a little bit risky. Put yourself in a little bit of trouble if you back up too far and get hit at the wrong point. But you know, you get 4 extra tire sets that you could use from the pits, so you know, math says that every 30 laps he would take a set, and we got the 30 laps and he didn't take a set, so it is interesting. If it comes into play, it would be important, but like you said, like we've seen, the fall off not that heavy.
Its pace track lights are off, and Michalski looks like he's picking the inside lane, and Bailey Turner going to be to his outside. These two have run nearly identical fastest laps of the race, and there is a bonus point for fastest lap, and right now I believe that maybe Brody Hayes that holds that. So your pole sitter also has fastest lap, trying to get bonus points there as pace truck pulls it down, and Michalski going to be in control. We'll see what kind of a restart he gets. Nice job getting on the throttle, but even better job maybe for Bailey Turner to stay right alongside now down into turn number 1.
If Turner just able to stay on the outside through 2, he's going to get the spot, and he's got it. So Turner's going to get the lead, and Brody Hayes is really going to lose out here, getting stuck behind Michalski on the restarting 3rd. It's going to let Mayato get the 2nd, and now he's going to try to get that 3rd position from Michalski.
He'll go down to the inside. Big send down there, and Michalski keeps it powered up on the outside. And they'll remain side by side down the backstretch, but you can see such a disadvantage on those older tires. And he's lost 3 positions already as Hayes able to just clear out of turn number 4. Now it's Simard and Cox that ride behind him. And we'll see if Michalski can kind of settle in right here, maybe. And this would be a few positions gained for him. But, yeah, not a huge gain for kind of a big gamble early on in this one. Right now it's Simard and Faircloth behind him on the top sides, trying to work the momentum up there. But all kind of blocked in at the moment.
Hey, you can see the big difference that the 0-3 is creating. I mean, those top 3 are going to be able to just pull away, running, you know, 2/10 per lap faster than Michalski, while everyone else kind of stuck at the 0-3's pace because Cox nor Simard can make this pass work. They're just kind of stuck. So if Michalski could do this for like 30 laps, I guess it would work out, but this is a big risk because eventually you would think one of these guys gets a little bit impatient, let alone Loveland and Faircloth, Hutton. They're probably understanding what's going on up there as well and know that they got to go because those top 3 are getting away.
We're looking 3 wide right now as Faircloth up there on the top side. Big bobble for him, and Jace Coley slams the wall behind, able to keep it rolling and actually gained a position in the process. So maybe not as hard a hit as it appeared, but he is hanging the right rear out, and he is about to lose it.
Oh, man.
Ooh, oh boy, still trying to hang on to it, and he's able to save it.
Great.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the longest death wobble I've seen. That went on all the way around the racetrack pretty much, and
oh man,
just able to get out of it with a tiny bit of contact to the wall.
You slide the right rear once, you go into the next corner, especially at a track this quick and small. You slide it out of the corner, you go into the next corner, you're not going to have that right rear grip that you need, as Samard is finally the next driver to get by Noah Mahalski for the 4th spot. But I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe got some toe damage from hitting the wall at it too, because that was not a light hit. That was, the first one was a huge hit, and that could easily bend the car, you know, kind of change the steering up a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if that played a factor in him sliding as well. As biggest lead of the night is what Bailey Turner's got right now. He's up to a 2nd lead kind of out of nowhere. Brody Hayes did get by my auto, and the caution is out, and it is, couldn't see who that was for.
I think
maybe
Colton,
Christian Blackwell.
Yeah, maybe Christian Blackwell, Colton Freymiller. Let's see if we can go back. Yeah, the 17 was stopped on the track. Loses the back end and catches the end of the pit lane, similar to what happened to the 14 of Todd Giles there. And Freymiller pulls it down pit lane after coming to a stop, and that'll be the end of his competitive night here. But yeah,
it was the same thing that happened to Giles too. It's like so early in the corner he lost it. Like they have a bunch of, maybe a lot of these drivers maybe running a bunch of rear brake in it possibly, as Levi Cox is going to pit from 5th. That's shocking to me. 15 laps on the tires. It's even more shocking to me Mahalski's not going to pit. So yeah. Some drivers running different strategies here for sure. Ryan Phillips is in, also 46, Dallas Sullivan.
Yeah, maybe it has something to do with like the fuel window and how far Mahalski is trying to get to on this first set of tires. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, at this point he's you know, better off than the rest of these guys with an extra set, but he could take them and get that tire advantage. He'd have a fuel advantage as well. I don't think they can go the rest of the way on this tank of gas. They're probably going to have to stop, but if we get a lot of yellow flags, I guess they could make it. It's a pretty short track. We're looking at what, about 60 miles from this point, so it's really not too far.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they can make it to the end. I mean, 150 laps is really nothing here.
That's true. And yeah,
80% tank.
It's probably right around the edge of making it. Yeah. So maybe they can all make it from this point. Yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. Let's see if we can maybe.
If it were to go green, it would be interesting to see if those guys can make it and the others can't.
I was gonna say maybe we can pull a driver up here, but I think we're gonna be getting the one to go, most likely at this point. Bailey Turner, we'll see what he does on the restart. To recap, this is our 3rd caution of the night, including 1 stage caution as well. We have had 5 lead changes, those between Brody Hayes, Bailey Turner, and Noah Mahalski. And we'll see another one on this restart. And Bailey Turner is going to take the top side, seeing what the 37 had done there. So we'll see what he's able to do. This could work out well. Maybe it gets Chris Samard alongside and kind of boxes in Brody for a couple laps.
That's what I think would be the goal. He also boxes in my auto a little bit as well, but definitely a better spot for Brody Hayes to be in than the last time.
It's pace truck on the pit lane. Field in the hands of Bailey Turner. Gets it going. Nice restart. Timed it perfectly there. Brody Hayes, though, able to get a solid start, and he should be able to clear his teammate off of turn number 2. He does just that. And then Mayato Samard, they'll race for 3rd place into turn number 3. Good restart lap for all of these drivers. Eric Hutton now climbs up to the 5th spot. A good driver on the short tracks as well. I know he's had a little bit of a break from iRacing, but looks like he's picking up right where he left off. A winner and championship contender at one point in this series.
Yeah, trying to get to the outside of my auto. It seems like you can be up there to defend, but it's really hard to kind of throttle up in the middle of the corner to get to someone's right rear to make that pass along the outside. Really, really tough to do anything up there with limited room, as Turner and Hayes kind of rocket away from the field again. It just seems like those two have what other drivers don't right now. Samard, Mayato, Hutton now the top 5, as Mahalski just had a big wiggle. He's back to 7th, so you know, officially once the 31 passes him, he's losing on this strategy, as that's Jeremiah Hobbs, who's up to 7th now from 13th.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't bring it in the last time. Oh, there goes Hobbs.
Oh, Hobbs. saved it. Got to be careful in the one on the apron. Kept it down out of the way, but everything he just gained, like I was talking about, now he just lost it. And that's Cody Atkins going to go by. I hope Atkins doesn't spin.
And Adkins up 4 spots from where he started, running in 13th place. One of the league admins here, having a solid start to this one. Another good driver on the short tracks. Benson Weaver, he's up 10 positions in that number 1 car, kind of in the midst of all this, running on the outside of Michael Jones, who's also up 4 positions. So just a lot of movers forward. Big slide up the track, though, for Brady Wagner.
Oh, hit the wall at a 4. Pretty square on the right front, but I don't see much damage visibly. But as the same thing, it seems like so many drivers are trying to fire it into turn number 3, especially the rear end just comes out of nowhere if you're applying too much brake. He's sliding again, but he didn't slide nearly as much. But turn 3 entry looks to be a real big trouble spot for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, probably gonna have to work on that brake bias setup, as we haven't seen that issue with any of the lead drivers really, and Bailey Turner not quite as far out in front this time after the kind of heat cycle, probably kind of leveling things out a little bit. Brody Hayes right on the back bumper, putting that pressure on. They've pulled a second out on Chris Samard, who's held on to 3rd place over his teammate Keith Mayato. Again, Eric Hutton right up here.
Oh, Michael Jones just got a little bit turned into the wall down the back straightaway. He's got big left front damage now on that 2 car.
That's week 1 winner. Let's take a look at what happened. 3 wide with the 54 Levi Cox, who did pit and trying to make his way back forward. And it looks like maybe the 2
got loose.
Yeah, he got loose coming off the corner. Let's see if we can get another shot of this. Comes off the turn and then comes down the hill. Yeah, nowhere really Levi Cox could have gone.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything Levi could do there. I mean, when you're side by side, they were too wide at that point. You're expecting him to be at the wall, and he was so low. There's nothing, I don't think he could have expected that. So nothing I don't think the 54 could do, and just a mistake from Michael Jones getting that car slid sideways. Just hoping to get a yellow to repair it, because still lead lap, able to hang on in 23rd as it's like Colton Frame Miller's pitting as he got back on track just to run some laps. But those top 2 just in a league above the rest of the field right now, as even there's a gap forming between 11th and 12th. Chase Cully 11th, well ahead of Chase Abel in that 12th position, who's got a number of cars behind him.
I would worry about Brody Hayes maybe running a little bit too close to the back bumper. I mean, he's not even 4 feet behind right now, and he's pretty much maintaining that. So that is not going to be great for his front tires, but maybe trying to get the balance right. If the car's a little loose, maybe he's tightening it up by using the front tires a little more. And you said battle further back here, that is Kostick and Mahalski just inside the top 10. Jace Cully, even after his massive moment, about 2/3 of the racetrack, he was out of control. He's up here in the top 10. So good recovery, gained about 7 spots since that moment.
Yeah, been getting through the field nicely by Max Cost in that 11th position. As you can see all the tire tracks sliding into 3. It's not just one person doing it. There's multiple people, as he's actually one of the few drivers I'm seeing get to the right rear of some drivers. Maybe these guys not defending their right rear as much, but he's able to get to the outside of Michael Kostek and make this pass around the outside. Really, really tough to do at a track like this. This is for 9th, as most of these guys still behind Noah Mahalski in that 8th position, who had another slide out of turn number 4, really struggling with the handling and sliding into turn 1 again. And you can see the gap up to Dennis Faircloth. He's still 0.2 of a second off, so holding back really only 3 cars right now, but very big struggle for that Monster Energy 03.
And actually Dennis Faircloth running some of the fastest laps of the field right now. He ran an 1886, which is a 10th faster than the leader. So maybe Dennis finding some speed here on the long run. Usually a driver that goes up there and he'll burn his stuff up just trying to get the track position, and sometimes runs into trouble. This time still faster than your leader by just a touch, about a 0.5 that time. So he is finding something in that 80 car, putting pressure now on Eric Hutton.
Yeah, finding something, but also still got a few cars to get through to get up to those front guys, and might even at this point EDL to catch them 4 seconds back, because it's going to fly by in a hurry. We're only about 7 laps away from the halfway point of this race, and I don't believe there's any more competition yellows left. We have the lights on, so that's all good, but It's still going to be a struggle to make these passes, even with that time advantage he's got right now. I mean, you see Hutton's just running fast enough around that outside where he just can't use all the track out of the corner to make this pass work.
Yeah, these two just glued together, but Hayes not able to make any serious progress to get even to the back bumper. Samard maybe starting to lose a little bit of ground now. He's about 2 seconds back of Brody Hayes, and Keith Mayato is close back up to him. Keith, one of those guys, also super good on the long run, likes to save his stuff, but that goes for Samard as well. So these two, they're probably not in save mode now, seeing how far back they are. They really would have to start pushing. And we have some side-by-side battles back here. Hobbs and Abel, as well as Levi Cox, who's continuing to march through.
Samar just had a big wiggle in the middle of 1 and 2. He had to let Mayato by, and he almost had 2 VSPEED cars crash out in the same corner. But definitely looks like Samar, I don't think he's saving with a slide that big. Just really, really struggling at this point in the run. I'd say at this point, probably 40 laps on the tires, 30 to 40, and really starting to fade as it's a log jam for 12th. Hobbs,
oh man,
Cox and Abel are nearly 3 wide for the spot.
Yeah, Hobbs slipped up the track, and the 7 of Chase Abel almost went to the middle there, and he's going to be 3 wide now, and he backs out of it. But yeah, not a good situation to be in here with how fast you go down into the turn. Levi Cox finally able to get through that traffic. He's got a long ways yet to go, and at this point he's probably burned his stuff up trying to make passes. Max Koss goes up the hill, loses a little bit of ground. But yeah, the top 10 all fairly organized at the moment. The top 2 starting to get close to lap traffic. You see Michael Jones up there. That's Zach Smith as well. They've gone by, that may have been Frey Miller, but it's one of those cars is here.
Too.
Yep, and here is Bailey Turner under pressure, heavy pressure. This may be the closest that Brody's been. He was almost to the bumper that time.
He's getting through the center to exit. We're talking about how good Turner was center exit. He's better than Bailey Turner at that part of the track right now, and he might have too much for Bailey Turner to handle, but Turner's going to race him hard. He's not going to give it to him as they approach lap traffic. He's trying to clear this 37 before he can get used, before the 91 of Zach Smith can get used as a pick. Zach Smith's just going to get out of the way. I don't want any part of this, so no opportunity for Hayes to get it done there. He's going to try to get that right rear, maybe get the over-under, cross him over, get to the inside in turn number 3, but just didn't quite get the run he needed to do so. But I think he's definitely the faster car right now.
Yeah, he's saved maybe just enough. And it's interesting to say that as he's been running in the tire tracks of Bailey Turner. Here he goes again down to the inside lap machine of Michael Jones, catches the outside wall. This is going to be a sketchy situation. Oh man, they all make it out of there for now.
And then they got Brady Wagner up the road. After that, they have a lot of track ahead of them, and then there would be 21 cars lead lap at that point. After this, some smooth sailing, but everyone else lead lap has still got to get through those guys as well, as that battle for 9th is still going. Mahalski, I don't know if he can make it on fuel like we think some others might be able to, but he's not giving up 9th. Michael Kostek has been to his inside the past 20 laps or so and just can't make this pass work, as neither can Max Cost or Levi Cox. Cox with the fresher tires, maybe he can do something, but these guys are at a stalemate.
Yeah, they have been battling hard since they've been next to each other. And the 20 almost gets up into the left rear quarter panel. Up there in front of them, a lap machine. Chase Cully's been able to get by, and he's gone up to 8th. So continuing his march forward up 19 positions. So really impressive run. Jace Cully went from pretty much last to top 5 last week at Atlanta, and he is doing a similar thing here tonight. Battle side by side, Eric Hutton and Dennis Faircloth. These two have been battling for, what, about 10 laps? And Hutton's still holding him off as the lap machine behind them starting to get a bit of slide on. But it's kind of showing us how hard it is to make passes here. I mean, that's 2 battles, the 80 and the 88, and also the 03 and the 20. Those are 2 battles that have been ongoing for, it feels like 20, 30 laps, and it hasn't changed hands because the driver on the outside just able to get enough of a run to keep that positioning and keep that spot. Just imagine how hard it's going to be to get the race lead away for that 37 car. I mean, he's right behind the 24 and can't do a thing yet. Yeah, maybe gonna have to wait a little bit longer and see if the 24 burns his stuff up that much more. Battle side by side. Hobbs goes up the track once again, and on goes Daniel Cunningham, and then Dallas Sullivan chasing side by side to the stripe. It's still Bailey Turner hanging on to it, still defending. Oh man!
Oh, he's at the apron.
Yeah, he's doing everything I think he can to get the car to rotate, and that was just a little bit too much. He's gonna have to slip in behind and reload, see if he can get another attempt here. But trying to find every inch of running room at this track, and there's not really anywhere for him right now.
Yeah, well, Mahalski finally gave up the battle to Michael Kostek, and now he's lost another spot to Levi Cox. So that pass finally got done. Hutton and Faircloth, they haven't changed yet. Bumper to bumper for the lead still. As if 5 laps from now, 4 laps from now, we're going to be at 60 to go.
Yeah, and it's probably going to start to become kind of a danger zone for Mahalski. I'd say probably 10, 20 laps. You know, he might have to consider bringing it down if it continues to stay green. I'm sure he'll run it till it's dry, but right now in a sketchy spot as we got a car turning. Chase Abel gets hit. Around goes the 13 of Jake Mackey, and the yellow is going to fly, so throw those worries out the window. If you're Noah Mahalski, he can finally bring it in here. But that looked like it was Christian Blackwell potentially.
Initial contact looked like it happened, and then I think the 13 just spun in reaction.
Yeah, let's see if we can see what happened to Jake Mackey there. Yeah, just maybe hit the brakes as he was coming off the corner, and that could be a no-no in some of these stock cars, right? You really lose all the grip that you might have, and already kind of a sketchy spot coming off turn 2 there.
Yeah, Blackwell just trying his best to stay out of the way for sure. It was definitely off the pace and just was in the top of the track at a bad time. 7 needed that room to slide up, and Abel didn't really have it, and they came together. Like we mentioned, the 13 just kind of spun in reaction, but that's a big break, not only for Mahalski because he can make it off fuel, but he at least gets back even on tires. He will not stay out this time, and pretty much everyone will be on even tires for the end of this race until we, of course, get another crossroads with tires if anyone wants to take them. Gets off pit road first. Looks like it's Turner, and Brody Hayes did not have a good stop as 3 drivers get by him.
Yeah, 15.8 seconds there. You can see it on the left. Brody Hayes not going to be happy about that. He's going to have to make some passes early on, and we'll see if anybody else has anything for Bailey Turner. It's now James Loveland into second, and we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the green flag.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Back at the racetrack, about to get things going once again. And Bailey Turner, nice restart. James Loveland not able to get to the throttle quick enough. He's going to be under attack from Chris Samard, who's going to sail it in there on the top side. Not able to stay alongside, and he's going to be battling with Mayato once again. Those two pretty much inseparable tonight. But Turner doing exactly what he needs to do to get back out in front.
I think it's important that now he's got Brody Hayes, multiple cars in between him and Brody Hayes in case this does go green. It's going to take a lot for Hayes to get back through these guys, and maybe Turner can figure out how to save his tires a little bit better because it definitely looked like he was a slower car, and caution's out. It's Christian Blackwell, I believe, actually bringing out the yellow this time.
Yeah, so another Quick yellow flag. Let's take a look at what happened to the 9. Just loses the back end going down into the corner. Couldn't hang on to it. Catches the guardrail and comes to a stop there. Probably what triggered the yellow flag. He's off the racing surface, but able to keep it rolling here. Has some damage to the left front. So Blackwell getting caught up in that one. And I say we pull a driver up here now that we might have a little bit of a longer opportunity. How about Mr. Eric Hutton? See if we can get him up here. See how he's doing here tonight.
Trying to see if I can see him. I don't have the abilities like I do at Saturday night. I feel helpless.
I can pull him up here. Let's see. Eric Hutton, this is Adam and Connor in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Eric, you're running up here just outside the top 5. It's been an interesting kind of battle up here amongst a lot of these guys. You saw cars on different strategies. How's it feel out there riding through the bumps and trying to get up there towards the front?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think I hurt my stuff pretty bad on the long run there, so hopefully we can get a decent run here and maybe try to save a little more tire. But I got Bailey trying to teach me what he's doing, but it's not working yet.
Yeah, you got a few more spots to get up there and battle with him, but you've been strong here so far tonight and this season. You've had a couple of good runs. Yeah, just anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you get back racing?
Yeah, just appreciate Bailey coming out tonight, trying to help me, and getting back here at BTDY. It's been fun.
Awesome. Great to see you back here, Eric, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
All right, that is Eric Hutton running in the number 88 machine in that 6th spot, back in BTDY after a couple seasons off, I believe. And he joined, it was late last year or last season for a couple of races, but completely different car now in the ARCA machine. So we'll see what he's able to do if he can get a top 5 out of this one. Up here at the front, it's Bailey Turner, James Loveland. And to recap, we've had 5 cautions, one of those being for the stage, and still just 5 lead changes. Bailey Turner been able to control this one since he got to the lead. Pace car
Able to control it again because Brody Hayes was not able to get out of 5th place.
Yeah, and he's going to be trapped there on the bottom line, and green flag back out. Off and away, the driver's all back on the throttle. And again, Bailey Turner able to get clear, doing what he needs to do on the restarts, and a little checkup behind Chris Samard. And James Loveland able to get through to 2nd once again.
You know, Loveland didn't get really that great of a restart again, but Samard just went a little bit too high up the track in the center of 1 and 2, allowing that 0-2 to get by. And now it's VSPEED teammates side by side. It's like a 2020 VRL throwback, but Mayoto and Samard still side by side. Oh, no! Dennis Faircloth's around. Oh, more cars. Brett Benson Weaver, big hit.
Faircloth, who is having a great run, battling just outside the top 5. Let's see what happened on this one. Just gets tagged by Jace Cully. And Cully gets kind of trapped down there. And oh man, yeah, Jake Mackey goes around again. And Benson Weaver, I think that may be his night. Let's see if we can go take another look at what happened to the number 1 car. Benson Weaver, you see him here behind all of that action, out of turn number 2. And just gets tagged. Oh, he got hit from behind by Jake Mackey.
Yeah, Cully and Faircloth kind of came together. I can't really pin that on one another, but yeah, I think that second part of it kind of happened in the checkup. The top of the track was clear, but obviously you still had some people going slowly in the fast lane, and I don't think Benson Weaver and others were expecting them to check up. Weaver ran into Atkins, pushed Atkins into Sullivan, and then nothing Jake Mackey can do. He's not expecting that either.
As we go back alive, he's limped it back to pit lane, but not looking too good for the number 1 machine. Bailey Turner is 11 running cautions under, or running caution laps here, getting some more laps led, and at this point, he has led the most laps, 80 of them here. And Brody Hayes probably regretting that he let the 24 on through, because this has not worked out since then.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't know how annoyed he'll be in the fact that also Turner didn't let him back by, but, you know, it's a short race. It's not like we have a 300 lap race here. I mean, 150 laps has flown by in a hurry. We're not even, I don't even know if we're even 50 minutes into this race, and we're under 50 to go, and we've had some decent green flag running, and you never know when you're going to start getting caution after caution. It might be happening right now, so obviously, you know, especially if they thought they were going to go to the end on fuel, Bailey's not going to let him by, especially with how bad his pace is on the long run, or at least how bad it looked as he takes the top again, because if he let the 37 by, he might not have gotten back by him. But I think it wouldn't be surprised if Hayes just remembers that in case he wants to let him by in another race, and knows what he's dealing with.
Yeah, Brody's still trapped here in the 5th position and gonna have to work his way by the teammates. And that is a tall order. Those guys have been competitive all night long. It's not like they're, you know, slouches out here. So it's going to be tough to get on through. And James Loveland could be looking at his first win in the Premier Series of BTDY as he restarts on the inside again. But Samard much better on the jump this time. He should be able to hang on to it if he can stay alongside. That time not able to do it.
He just didn't have the guts to go deeper into the corner. James Loveland fired that thing in there and got by the 77 easily again. As once again, got a slide out of 4 in 3 and 4 of Zach Smith, and it's another quick caution.
So they're cautions breeding cautions, as they say. Let's go take a look at what happened to that would be the number 91, I believe. Looks like maybe just lost it on his own, like we've seen a few drivers do.
Turn 3 again, just entered a little bit too hard possibly, and just looped the rear of the car around.
Didn't make contact with anything, so no harm, no foul really, other than the yellow coming out. And there are penalties for causing cautions here as well. I think that may be the second that he's been involved in, so maybe not exactly the night that he's wanted. Running back here in 26th place, as the 7 of Chase Abel will bring it down. And also looks like Michael Jones getting some service done, so a few pit stops happening. Maybe we can get a quick word in with maybe a driver outside the top 10. How about Ryan Phillips in 11th? See if we can pull him in.
See what he's got.
I don't think we've talked with Ryan before. And
I can guarantee you I haven't.
yeah, I don't see him in here. Oh wait, there he is. All right. Hey Ryan, this is Adam and Connor in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, you started in the 6th spot here tonight, running outside the top 10 right now. How's the car feeling, and what's your plan here these next 50 laps, or to the end of the race?
It's pretty treacherous out here, so it's kind of hard for me to move forward. Just trying to keep her straight. I'd like to be in the top 10 by the finish of this, though.
Yeah, definitely had the good qualifying efforts and runs in the first few races of the season. How are you liking the ARCA car so far in this new season?
I love it. I think it's great. It's an all-around car. It can be tight. It can be loose. It can just kind of real fun car to drive.
Yeah, definitely been a lot of fun to watch as we're about to go back greens. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before you get back racing?
Yeah, just all my boys at Big Fast Racing, you guys in the booth, BTDY for putting this on. It's a great season. All the drivers keeping it clean. It's been a pretty good race.
Awesome, Ryan. Well, good luck out there.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, that is Ryan Phillips, driver of the number 27 machine. As we're about to get things going once again, it's Bailey Turner, James Loveland, Ken Samard, Mayato, Hutton, or Hayes do anything about the 24 or the 02. This time again down into turn number 1. Loveland gets the clear. I believe he should be able to clear. Samard, no, not able to this time. The battle's on for second.
Definitely the best Samard's been on the top on these restarts, but it's going to be hard out of 4 to hold that right rear, and he just can't hit the wall trying to, though. And Loveland's got second again. He almost hit Bailey Turner, almost bumped him in the turn number 1, got really close to the bumper. Turner had a bad moment out of turn number 2. He's there.
And Loveland going to try and take this opportunity, make a move to the inside off of turn number 4. He's got a nice run, still keeping it on the quarter panel, but Bailey Turner just powering around the outside But here we go, down through the bumps of turn number 2. It's still Loveland alongside. Great run from him in this one, up 7 positions. Gonna send it deep in the corner, nearly contact.
Kind of forced Bailey Turner up the track more than he wanted. He got sideways. He had to save it. He's going to lose 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position as he's going to fall back to 5th. Brody Hayes, oh, crash. Big crash at the back. I think the 54 is in it. In the 46 of Sullivan. Sullivan and Levi Cox.
We got bumpers flying around back here on the backstretch. It looks like Levi Cox, heavy damage. He was a driver who was battling up inside the top 10 at one point. Elected to pit. But this time just, gets checked up. Oh, big hit by the 08 of, that's Daniel Cunningham. Getting a big piece of that one. Let's take another look at it. I don't know if he maybe rubbed with the 37 just a little bit, getting down in the corner.
Looked like he was maybe up the track trying to make sure the 02 made the corner, and Hayes was trying to take the middle, and they came together.
Yeah, just a tiny little bit of contact there, upsetting the 54. And all chaos ensuing after that. And Bailey Turner saying, okay, well, we could run a few more laps under yellow. It makes his job easier, but now it'll be a different driver on the front row.
Different drivers, a different kind of setup in row 2 as well. I mean, he's got Mayato in 2nd now, but he's still got Simard and Hutton on row 2. And now James Loveland's back to that 5th position. Brody Hayes, like I said, he went backwards. He fell back to 6th, so getting, kind of caught out on pit road. Looks like it's kind of derailed his race a little bit here as we're approaching 30 to go, and he hasn't moved. And like I said, he's gone backwards a spot.
As we take a look at biggest movers in this race, it's still Jace Cully up 14 spots. Right behind him, Benson Weaver, even with his issues, up 11 positions in this race. And Christian Blackwell is up 10 spots. So those are your 3 biggest movers. Still remains to be seen who will be the biggest mover of the race, but still 35 laps to go. Michael Kostick's had a good strong run, running in the 8th position. In that number 20 Jack Daniels machine. Started 15th, running in 8th right now, so good progress. Eric Hutton, he's up 7. This is I think the highest we've seen him up here in 4th now, after getting around James Loveland after his slide.
He's one of 3 or 4 drivers actually who have gone into the top 10 after starting outside the top 10. Him, Mahalski, Kostek, and Hobbs have all worked their way into the top 10. I believe the biggest mover is Jace Cully still. He's started 27th up to 13th. He's gotten through half the field, but he needs 200. He needs like 240 laps to be on this pace to get the win, but still some time. Also good for Mahalski. He's able to maintain in that 7th spot after being on a different tire strategy. It's been okay for him.
Not been too bad, as here we go back to the restart zone, and Bailey Turner, nice jump this time. How about Eric Hutton, his teammate right there behind, able to time it with him? What is Mayato going to be able to do on the inside? Can he get clear quickly of the 88? It doesn't appear to be the case. They're going to go down into turn number 3. He really sent it in deep, and look at Hutton back to the throttle early. And they're still side by side as Bailey Turner pulls a couple car lengths on him.
But a big restart for Brody Hayes got him all the way back to the 4th position, got by Simard right there, and got by Loveland, and he's going to try to get one of these two. Whoever goes first, he's going to try to pass.
Yeah, Mayato just not able to do it, and you can see the inside lane off of turn 4 just treacherous for these drivers. That was the same thing that happened to Loveland.
Big crash on the front. Zach Smith, Christian Blackwell.
Yeah, these guys involved in a couple of things so far in this one. Let's take a look at what happened between these two. Might have just been the 9. Yeah, looks like he's out of shape and then loses it off of 4 and gets tagged by the 91 of Zach Smith. Everybody else able to avoid. So a couple of drivers who've had kind of a rough night and running back here outside the top 20. Blackwell still on the lead lap, but Zach Smith 20 laps down after his early issues put him on pit lane. But I think there is also a 3 strikes and you're out policy here in BTDY, so we may see some of these guys getting close to that limit.
Chris Simard pit from 6th.
Yeah, bringing it down here.
I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Seems like at this point we're getting a lot of yellows. We're not getting many laps under green. I'm pretty surprised that he's pitting from 6th, and he only brought really only the guys with damage in. He was the only one without damage, really, to come down and pit.
Yeah, max cost looks like he might have just topped up on fuel, potentially. Very short stop there for him. Samard looks like maybe 2 tires. Only 8 seconds in the box. Yeah, so not too sure.
Yeah, that was definitely 2 tires. It's even more confusing. I'm not sure. We'll see how that works.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get a maybe 20 lap run, maybe this works out, get some of that track position back. But that just right now it looks unlikely.
Yeah, not a lot of time left in this thing, and the string of cautions that we've been having as of late would kind of indicate we're probably going to get a few more. So you're really only going to have maybe 15-20 laps of green the way things have gone. So we'll see how that goes, but that's not enough time for Samard to make it from 18th after pitting. Yeah, it's a bold move, and maybe he's just wasn't sure about fuel. Maybe he was going to be short and just decided to top up or something like that. Not exactly sure of the situation, but Bailey Turner going to have his teammate now on the front row, and Keith Mayato and Brody Hayes, row number 2. This is big for Brody Hayes. He may get back up to 3rd before the end of this next run.
But I can almost guarantee if Bailey Turner stays in the lead, he's just going to keep taking the opposite line of what Brody Hayes is. And if Brody Hayes gets to 3rd, he's going to pick the top and let Hutton be on the bottom of the racetrack. So at this point, for Bailey Turner, I think the only one who can challenge him for the win, unless I'm proven otherwise, is 37. He's going to try to box him in every opportunity.
As Turner on the inside with the teammate. Looks like they time it decently well, but not a great restart for Hutton. But yeah, it looks like a little bit of a side-by-side battle for second. Going to box in Brody Hayes for the moment. Behind them, it's Michalski and Loveland battling for the top 5. And Michalski trying to recover after his strategy put him backwards. And look at this 3-wide Faircloth on the top side. Coley in the middle, going to cut it all the way to the bottom. Bold move there from the 65 as he takes it to the inside of Ryan Phillips. Those two will race it off the corner side by side. And again, 3 wide.
Oh, that's not going to work. Entering on the apron, that's Dallas Sullivan. He tried to enter the really low line, and it's just not going to work. It's still side by side for second. Hutton just got driven up the track by Mayato a little bit there, and he's up the track. Good run from a 36, just not quite able to clear him at this point.
Yeah, and Hutton is doing exactly what he needs to do in that top groove and making it very difficult for Keith Mayato. Bailey Turner loving what he's seeing. Those guys getting a little bit smaller lap after lap and also using their stuff up. Brody Hayes just kind of waiting. There's not really much he can do. Now gets alongside the 88. Can Mayato clear off 4?
That's got to be the most frustrating thing. He needs one of these two to clear each other, but it just won't happen, and he can't really get enough of a run to go through wide. Now Hutton's up the track. Mayato cleared a second, so he might be able to get Hutton for 3rd here, which would really help him. But it's still going to be a struggle.
Yeah, still side by side for 3rd, and things pretty hectic further back in the pack. We see Dallas Sullivan side by side with Jace Cully. Max Koss, Benson Weaver, these guys racing it up side by side. Samard is up a few positions. He's now trying to take it to the inside of Brady Wagner. This would be for the 14th position, but not enough progress at the moment.
Here goes Hayes for second. Big move. It wasn't even a challenge. I think Mayato just lets him by there. 2 VSPEED teammates.
Yeah, Keith has the win from last week. He's seen how good Brody has been. Might just recognize that if he lets him get up there and battle with Bailey, it might bring him a little bit closer to Keith. So that could be a good strategy move potentially.
You know, for sure, if Eric Hutton stays on 3rd or 4th, Turner's just going to pick whatever lane that the 88's in. That's if we get another caution. Now we're coming to 18 laps to go this time by, and the only challenger at 24 all night just gained about maybe 0.04 of a second on him that time. And once again, these two are getting away while Mayato, Hutton, Loveland, Hobbs are going to battle for top 5s. How about Jeremiah Hobbs all of a sudden up in the 7th?
Yeah, I mean, he was up there in the top 10 when he had a couple of his moments. Mahalski catches the wall pretty hard. Checks him up.
Hit.
Yeah, not going to lose any ground just yet, but he was battling with Loveland, who's not going to shut the door, or just about shuts the door on him. Now he's clear. But yeah, these guys are battling really hard here in the back half of the top 10. You see Faircloth, who's had a very strong night, even with the, he had a spin, and he's back up here battling in the top 10. Really good speed out of the 80. And so that is a promising sign for him. He's had good speed at a couple of the tracks so far. And Jace Coley trying to recover as well after getting collected in one of those wrecks. Just outside the top 10, up 16 spots from where he started. So those guys continuing to rebound as at the front. The lead's shrinking just a little bit, but it's only, what, 100th a lap? Not quite enough.
Yeah, it was a little bit more than that per lap, but last time by it was only 100th per lap. This time by he lost half a tenth, so Turner started to pick it up a little bit. 14 laps of racing to go. As like you said, that battle around the top 10 very frantic right now. That could be where the yellow comes from. Samard's in that battle as well. Remember, he pit from 6th, took 2 tires. He just drifted into turn number 3, trying to get back anything he can. But like I said, it's looking like a struggle of a strategy right now. As that time Brody Hayes gained a lot back.
Yeah, about another half tenth back. So they're kind of just swapping laps and getting closer and closer to 10 laps to go. It's Bailey Turner who's been dominant in this one out in front, but really these two, I think they've led almost all the laps, right? I think a couple for Mahalski, yeah, and his strategy, but Bailey's led 116, Brody's led 18 after starting on the pole, and Bailey Turner trying to get back to victory lane here in BTDY.
Just seems like whenever Brody gets into maybe the 0.3 of a second range, that's when he really starts to maybe feel the effects of dirty air. It's when he backs off a little bit, but gained a little bit back. Samar just had a wiggle, 77 sliding, still trying to save it, and he somehow did. This strategy has not worked whatsoever, but he at least saved the race car for the time being.
Yeah, he was going for 11th, battling with Jace Coley and Dennis Faircloth, and big moment there. But able to keep it rolling. In 15th, still gained some spots since the restart, but not going to be a net gain for him as 10 laps to go, coming to 9 to go now. And it is still Bailey Turner. They're running up on some lap traffic. This has been an issue at times. Is Blackwell going for a big slide? The leader's closing in right on the back bumper.
That's going to check Turner up more than he wants. 9's going to get high, but that's also going to hurt Brody Hayes' corner exit.
Yeah.
They almost came together as well, but through all that, they ran pretty even times. The last lap, Hayes lost over a tenth as the caution is out, and we're going to get a late restart. Dennis Faircloth spun out again.
Oh boy, this may have been involving a few drivers. The 27, Ryan Phillips up the track, Jace Coley. Looks like everybody just came together.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there. It almost looks like Cully and Faircloth again. That's the second time they hit each other. It looked like the 65 was a little lower on the track and the 80 tried tracking up, but he didn't have the room he thought he'd have. That turns him into a 27 and sends the 80 spinning. 27 got some damage out of that himself. I don't think anyone at the front's going to pit to have some fakes. That's the reset that I think Brody Hayes needed.
Yeah, definitely going to have a better shot at it potentially, but he may not have many laps to do it. And with Bailey Turner in control on this restart, Eric Hutton, though, going to be in row number 3, so he doesn't have a teammate to help him potentially get alongside Brody. So yeah, this could be a fair match to the finish. Brody's going to have to get the perfect restart.
He really just needs to I think the best thing for him is just clear to second position and just get green flag laps. He can still get on a green-white checkered, but it's going to be a lot tougher.
As you take a look here at the recap, 10 cautions, 5 lead changes. We have 5 laps to go in this one. We will have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish, so it's not out of the cards that these guys have to go a little bit further. But let's hope we don't have to use all 3 of them, because that's happened here before in BTDY. I mean, we've seen that happen in other leagues as well, where you run through all of them and then actually end up under caution at the end of all of it. But these guys have been the dominant force of the night. Keith Mayato right here in that third spot, doing what he needs to do to, you know, continue leading the championship standings. Loveland having a really great night, and we'll see if he can get up on the podium before it's all said and done. He'll have a good shot on the restart as well. And then Eric Hutton here running top 5 all race long. Really good night for him. And good to see him back towards the front once again here in BTDY. We'll get the 1 to go, so we'll have 3 laps to the end of this race, Connor.
Fair cloth, like not fair cloth, but Hayes needs them all 3 to go green if get the best chance at getting to Bailey Turner. I'm just not sure if he can make the pass for the win without a mistake from Turner or using the bumper. And I haven't raced Brody Hayes in a while, if ever, but I'm not sure how aggressive he's gonna get. We'll just have to see. You've
seen Brody be pretty aggressive here, but I don't know if he's gonna knock Bailey out of the way for the win. Ooh. Green flag is out. Not a good restart though for Brody Hayes. We'll see if he can get by Loveland, but this may be just the battle that Bailey needs. This time off too, still side by side, and Brody not actually in front of that battle. And this is exactly what Bailey Turner needed. Coming back to 2 laps to go here from Nashville Fairgrounds, race number 3 of the season. 24 machine in good control.
As we got Mahalski. Oh, big one.
Oh, Mayato's up and over Mahalski there, and his 3rd place run comes to an end. And he's lost a bumper.
There was like 2 or 3 separate crashes that happened there. Looked like the 31 and 20 and 88 came together. Obviously it was 0336.
Oh man.
That took out 3 or 4. At least. That's not even a good number. It was almost like maybe 8 to 10.
Yeah, let's see what happened here, because it looked like Mayato got into Mahalski. And they come together lightly, and then, yeah, the 20 gets punted by the 31, who catches the 88, the 65 of Cully, able to kind of get through. Sullivan gets turned around. Oh, my goodness, yeah, just tons of cars. Samard gets a piece of it as well. Had to get slowed up there, and we had
Sullivan.
Yeah, a lot of guys involved in this one.
Yeah, I count. In the initial pileup, you got like 6 cars. You got Dallas Sullivan in the 7th, kind of came into that late, and then Samard. I count. And then I think I had saw another car, Benson Weaver, get damaged. So maybe at least 9 cars were in that, and that's really going to shake up the finishing order, because, and especially the restart's going to be shaken up because you got Hutton with damage, but I doubt he's going to pit at this point, so he's going to restart 4th. Jace Cully's up to 5th. Ryan Phillips now 6th.
He was a caution before.
Yeah, it's worked
for
him.
Yeah, it's somehow all working out for guys that have been involved in a bunch of stuff. But if you have taken it behind the wall tonight, we still have 20 cars on the lead lap. Mayato is going to be done for the night after that huge hit going up in the air. And unfortunate, not going to be able to get back on the podium for the 2nd week in a row. And really had an amazing first 2 races. Went into turn 4 at Daytona. In the lead, gets turned, and then takes the win out of turn 4 at Atlanta. So he was looking like he could have a really great start to the season with his 3rd straight top 10, but not gonna be the case, as Bailey Turner gonna pick the outside, which is where his teammate is gonna be restarting behind him. So that's probably a good call.
Yeah, no-brainer. Hutton kind of fortunate to not be more damaged and able to get the row number 2, so Turner can kind of restart this race. Last time it looked on the restart, Hayes tried to time it and he went earlier than Turner. He didn't get a penalty, but he had to check up right when Turner launched. That's what put him in a 0-2 side by side. He's got to be a little better this time.
Hayes and Turner dominant in this race. 37's got to be perfect on the start, and not a great restart, but maybe a bit better than last time. And not sure if we lost the field for a moment. See if it comes.
He kept it straight. Hayes got the 2nd though.
Had a bit of a connection problem. Hayes through to 2nd. Good job by him. Coming back to the white flag. We'll see if we survive to that point. Looks like we're going to keep it straight. This race is going to be official. Bailey Turner trying to hang on for the win. I think Brody Hayes is going to be just a little bit too far back off of turn number 2. The gap about a car length and a half. Going to send it down in the corner, and it's not going to be enough. Bailey Turner dominates this race, and off of turn 4, he'll win at Nashville Fairgrounds in race number 3. So they wreck across the line. Faircloth hard into the inside wall. James Loveland comes away on the podium in tonight's race as well. And Chase Cully, 23 positions gained, finishes in that 4th spot. Incredible.
Unofficially, Faircloth crossed the line 13th and hit on the hat trick for incidents. Zach Smith, Colton Freymiller also got involved. But Bailey Turner, it's all you need to do is just kind of maintain on these restarts, and then he was able to do just that.
Yeah, lots of cautions in this race, and that really just kind of gave Bailey Turner an easier path to the win. Not an easy win. You know, lots of restarts. He had to be perfect and hold everybody else off. Had some challengers. Brody Hayes not quite able to get close enough, but Bailey Turner going to go to victory lane. We'll interview him and the rest of the top 3 and go through our results right after a quick commercial break.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
We've been around since 1946, originated as a scrap yard and evolved into a full-on steel service center, buying and selling new steel products of light fabrication, such as cutting, shearing, bending, threading. We also run a wholesale pipe, valve, and fitting plumbing division, as well as a retail showroom outlet. And then we also are a full-on structural steel fabricator, which is the skeletal steel that you see in commercial and residential structures. We sell to a wide variety of contractors, plumbers, maintenance type personnel, underground utility companies. We sell anything from single nuts and bolts to like a typical hardware store type of feel, one fitting, to full semi-loads of pipes. We're a little deeper in our inventory, and we actually have maybe a little more specialized type of fittings and such. Stock quite a diverse inventory, so we try to keep everything here to keep you guys going.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
We're back at the racetrack here at the finish of the Nashville Fairgrounds 150 and the Below the WL Racing Series race number 3. Tonight's event, over 10 cautions. Bailey Turner able to weather the storm and dominate this one. coming home with the win. Brody Hayes, tried as he might, came home in the second spot, just a car length behind at the finish. James Loveland comes home in the third position. Great run for him. Jace Cully, biggest mover by far, although right behind him, Max Cost. Those guys rounding out the top 5. Good run for both of those drivers. Eric Hutton falls to 6th after the late incident. Ryan Phillips comes home in 7th. Jake Mackey 8th. Michael Jones in 9th. And Brady Wagner able to come home in 10th.
Yeah, that last crash really mixed up the order a lot. Cully Cost top 5 was big for them. Hutton probably could have finished better than that. Michael Jones, we saw in an incident earlier, a pretty big hit for the 2 earlier, but able to get that top 10. Dallas Sullivan was involved in some incidents, got 11th. Levi Cox, he had big damage as well, but got 12th out of the day. Dennis Faircloth wrecked across the line, still got 13th, and a hat trick of incidents for him. Benson Weaver 14th. Chris Samard could only recover the 15th after a 2-tire call. Did not work out for him. Jeremiah Hobbs 16th. I think he'll be disappointed with that. 17th Chase Abel. Michael Kostek the 20 gets 18th. Year-end top 10 a lot under green. Christian Blackwell, tough night for him, but at least got to 19th. And Noah Mahalski, I think, will also be really disappointed, only getting 20th place out of the day.
Yeah, Keith Mayato, who ran up there in the top 5 all race long, gets caught up late, finishes 21st. Daniel Cunningham runs 22nd tonight. Colton Freymiller going to come home in 23rd. Zach Smith in 24th. Cody Adkins in 25th tonight. 26th was Michael Robinson. Kyle Peacock comes home in 27th. And Todd Giles Jr. comes home in the 28th position after an early exit for the 14 machine. But good overall race. We saw a mix of things here. A lot of beating and banging and a lot of adversity for a lot of drivers. Bailey Turner comes home with the win. Let's go now to our 3rd place finisher, and that is going to be James Loveland finishing on the podium. We'll see if we can get him up here into the booth. Hey, James, this is Adam and Connor up in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy? Hey, James, this is Adam and Connor. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right. Great run here tonight, James. You were up there battling for the lead late in the going and had a shot at it. Got loose, kind of lost some track position, ultimately finish in the 3rd spot. Just describe, the battle it was here tonight with all these restarts and trying to find your way through the field.
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, unfortunately, probably the biggest problem was all these restarts. You try to make something happen, and caution keep coming out. But man, when we got going, it was so fun to pass people and race. And yeah, I felt like I had a good car. I mean, the longer the run went, the better I got. And yeah, just unfortunately, cautions breed cautions, and it just kept hurting all of us.
Yeah, really tough to kind of find your rhythm when things kind of get broken up like that. But definitely a strong performance. You were making passes up into the top 5 and showing off some of that real world short track experience that you've got, and come home with a really strong finish. We go to Gateway next week, which is in some ways similar to this track, but a bit bigger. And how do you feel about going out there?
Yeah, it's a pretty good track for me. I have no laps in the ARCA car, so I'll have to get some practice in before we run that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I usually run pretty good there in any sort of car, so yeah, it should be fun. Different corners, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, hopefully it'll be as fun as this race was, because this was a blast.
Yeah, good to hear you had a great time out there. It's been a lot of fun so far early on in the season. You get a strong 3rd place finish at Nashville Fairgrounds. Anybody want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, shout out to you guys at VSPEED as always. Shout out to the league and the sponsors for getting this going again. I really enjoy running with these guys. This is fun, especially tonight. It was really fun. And yeah.
Awesome, James. Well, congrats on a great run here tonight. We'll catch you at Gateway next week and go celebrate the 3rd place finish tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. That is James Loveland, your 3rd place finisher. Strong night for him. We'll go now to 2nd place, and that's going to be Mr. Brody Hayes. Not going to be as thrilled, probably. Brody, this is Adam and Connor in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Brody, it looked like for much of this race you had the car to beat, but there was just one car sitting in front of you that you couldn't quite find your way around. You had to battle through a little bit of traffic late in the go and get to his back bumper. But just describe the race and all these restarts and just trying to get back to the lead.
Yeah, it was a fun night. Bailey did a good job just putting his car where it needed to be. I could get to him, could get next to him. just couldn't get in front of him. We were pretty even on speed. I think I was a little better than him on the long run. It's just that second half of the race, we just didn't get any long runs. It was just all about restart and what lane you were going to be in and how fast you could clear a guy. But now I'm happy to get out of here and finish in the top 5, get some points finally. It's been a rough start to the year. I just got a pit road, man. Pit road is kicking my butt this season. I cannot get off of pit road without making a mistake. So if I clean that up, we'll be all right. So hopefully wherever we go next week, we'll clean that up.
Yeah, it was the speeding penalty last week, and you were up there battling for it. So you got the speed. We know that. That's always been the case, and up here battling for it tonight for the win, and just one position short. But we go to Gateway next week, which has some elements of it racing a bit like a short track, but a bigger track as well. How do you feel about going out there in this car?
I haven't taken this car to Gateway. Gateway's funky. Like you get onto the brakes hard enough getting into 1 that sometimes you can downshift to get off of 2, but the RPMs in this thing, you rev out so quick. I don't know if downshifting is really going to be worth it. So that kind of changes things a little bit. But either way, it's gonna. I mean, this car's put on good races. I think every race this year, honestly. I think we did a good job tonight. I know it got a little sloppy, but so far it's been really racing. There's guys up front that you don't see up front a whole lot that are in the mix, so I don't see Gateway to be any different.
Yeah, I'm excited to go out there. I really do love that track, and going to be very entertaining to see you guys out there putting on a show for us once again. But second place here, Brody, you did start on the pole. I believe you had the fastest lap of the race as well, so a couple of bonus points there. Actually looks like maybe Samard may have gotten it just at the end there, but either way, very fast and one position short of the win. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to I think it's Florida Skin Doctor, thank them for coming on board. VSPEED, you guys up in the booth, everybody that puts on BTDY. This year we've had a great car count. The admins have done a great job. I give a special shout out to Cody. I know he's taken on, kind of making this car racy, and he's done a phenomenal job the past 2 weeks, so no pressure. But hats off to him. It's been a lot of fun, so we'll just keep it going. Awesome, Brody. Well, we'll see if we can get you in victory lane here sooner rather than later. I know you've been knocking on the door for a while, and it would be good to see you break through again. But a great run here with great speed and a lot to look forward to next week at Gateway. So go celebrate, and we'll catch you then. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That is your second place finisher, Brody Hayes. Let's go now to victory lane, and Connor Horn, I believe you're standing there with Mr. Bailey Turner.
I do a Bailey Turner. He's won a lot recently in a lot of series, but I believe his first victory in BTDY this season, the ARCA car. Bailey get it done on the short track, pretty fast, pretty wild, and seemed pretty tough for you, especially the one long green flag run we got. I mean, it took everything in you, it looked like, to get Brody Hayes and keep him behind you. How hard was that to run him clean, but also make sure he stayed behind you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I maybe had 20 laps of practice with this thing, so never really got a long run feel. And honestly, when me and Brody were battling at the beginning of the race, I was just having fun. Like, I was like, I'm just going to push this thing and see how it'll go. I completely forgot we even had a comp caution to save me there. But yeah, that second run, we got deep into that run, and I thought I was managing the rears well, but yeah, Brody was just honestly putting on a masterclass as far as the tire saving, and I was just hanging on for dear life. And I think, I told Brody, I was like, at a certain point in that run, I was just like, hey, I see those other guys are catching us. I'm going to hold Brody off as long as I can, and then hope he kind of battles those guys and I can get away. And yeah, luckily that worked out. But yeah, this first, is I guess my second race in this ARCA car other than Daytona and wrecking out in that race. So that was fun, and had to show up for the home track and get it done again.
He also wrecked in a Michigan ARCA race. I think we'd both like to forget that one, but obviously it definitely seemed tough to pass, and I don't know how much you really experienced of that. Once you got to the lead, you kind of stayed there, but it just seemed like it was maybe a little bit different from what we've experienced from other cars. I mean, didn't seem like the bumps were that crazy, but it definitely seemed to affect you and a lot of drivers a little bit. And how did you feel any effects of dirty air at all either?
Honestly, it wasn't horrible, but I'd kind of kept in mind throughout the corners. I was just always when I was, the one time I was in second place, just offsetting enough from Brody ahead of me to kind of get some air on the nose and keep it rotating. And honestly, I don't think I would have got the lead if Brody hadn't handed it over. I think he just didn't want to burn up his stuff like I was, and I'm sure looking back on it, he kind of regrets that because that's where he lost his track position. But yeah, this is honestly a great race. I'm surprised we went as green as we did in the first part of it, just because past experiences in this league with coming here, especially in that Xfinity car. I mean, you touch each other, you're done. So I'm sure obviously this car seemed a little bit more forgiving, and that definitely benefited as far as some clean racing there throughout the session.
And definitely saw some clean racing. Had some yellows, but still some good racing at the front, and you came out on top. Congratulations to you, Bailey. First one of the season. Anyone you want to thank or shout out? Yeah, shout out Eric Hutton. Unfortunately, he got a bit of damage there, else we could have been 1-2, and that was looking like it was going to shape up that way at the end. But shout out to him, shout out to you guys. Obviously, it's great having VSPEED here, and obviously the admins keeping this league going and really kind of building back that car count that we had lost over the last season or two. So it's been fun, on a part-time basis here. So showing up for the tracks you like, and whenever I have a free Tuesday, so it's been pretty good. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to Saturday night, working with Dennis Faircloth on a new paint scheme for Saturday for the championship race. So looking forward to seeing you guys then. Bailey Turner carrying a lot of momentum into Saturday Night Racing League's finale on VSPEED on Saturday. Bailey, congrats on the win tonight. Thanks for talking to us. We will see you Saturday. I'll see you Saturday. Adam might not, but I'll see you Saturday. Appreciate it, boys.
That is Bailey Turner, your race winner. And like you said, he's got a lot on the line on Saturday. I think he might have the championship locked up. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen the points. It's going to be tough to lose it, for sure. Yeah, I know there was a lot of things that happened at the end of the Dover race the other night that it looked like maybe he was going to have his hands full for the championship next week, but things kind of shook out. He actually might have gained points. So, I don't know. It's been a great season either way, and Bailey Turner's been on a roll here on a lot of the races that we stream that he's in. So definitely good to see him back here in Victory Lane and BTDY, and congrats to him. And Connor, well, interesting night tonight. We did have that green flag run at the beginning, but a little bit messy with the cautions. Glad we got at least a straight battle to the finish between the two best drivers tonight. Yeah, really good racing between those two. If that goes fully green, I would assume Brody gets him eventually, but I guess we'll never know. But Bailey Turner kept the lead on the final pit cycle for majority of the field, and obviously Brody Hayes losing 3 spots on pit road kind of made a difference, because it took him way too long to get back to second to really have a chance at getting him. So not much he could do about that. Didn't see if he missed a stall or not, but either way, it was a great battle. Maybe we see these two battle more throughout the BTDY season, and we'll see what else we can get out of this ARCA car, because it was pretty fun. Short track definitely looked edgy for a lot of drivers, but looked pretty fun to drive, and there was great battles throughout the field. Tough to pass, but still great battling, and should expect more of that. Yeah, and that's what we've seen so far this season. Atlanta was a treat, and these guys said it was probably one of the most enjoyable races they've run in a league race in a long time. Tonight looked like a fun one when we had the green flag action, and yeah, just definitely looking forward to Gateway next week, see what we get from these guys, see if we can put on another good show and maybe get another new winner on the season. But Connor, thanks so much for joining me up in the booth tonight. A lot of fun calling one with you. I got to thank all the admins and everybody at BTDY that makes this happen, all the folks at VSPEED behind the scenes that also help us do this, all the sponsors. Make sure to go check out all the links in the video description, and like, share, subscribe the video and the channel here if you enjoyed the race tonight. We will catch you all on track one of these nights. We stream almost every single evening, and Connor, I may see you on Saturday, but either way, good luck with that one, and everybody, thanks so much for tuning in.